Hello, Gina Brogan, here to talk about judgment and forgiveness. You may have heard me talk in the past about something like I may have said, you spot it, you got it, right? And what that means to me is, let's get right into it, because this is a real quick talk and an exercise I'm going to give you related to judgment and forgiveness of yourself and others. And by the way, if you find this useful and helpful, I would love for you to, what do they say on YouTube? Click like and subscribe, or share it if you're on Facebook. But anyway, this has been coming up a lot, not only in my own life, in my own personal life, but in a couple of clients' lives this week, where this idea of judging not only ourselves, but others, and the power of forgiveness. And yesterday I posted about the Ho'oponopono prayer, which has a great story. You can read about it. I am on TikTok. That just requires... Yes, I am on TikTok. Thank you for asking, because my VA takes clips of my videos and then she puts them on TikTok. And so, yay, thanks for asking. I should find out what my handle is, right? Because I don't even know. But thanks, and I'll find out and put it on here. So anyway, a couple quick things here, and feel free to share this video because the world needs this information and the healing is happening now. The healing has to happen now, right? If you are on your own ascension journey, if you are on your own awakening journey, I have no clue what my handle is, but I will post it in here in the link, a link in the comments, or Jenny Lynn will. So thank you for asking. What was I going to say? Forgiveness. So what we're seeing in the world is basically humanity is going through the dark night of the soul, and it really looks like, you know, anybody who's on a spiritual path, you have been kind of going through a lot of craziness in the past several years, and nothing really is as it seems. Nobody is as they seem, and what seems black may seem white, and now everything is kind of turning upside down and all that. And you know what's happening, the way I look at it, if you look at like the humanity with a big giant pain body, the emotional pain body of humanity is like all of the pain is coming to the surface, and there's so much craziness, and it's like all of this toxic stuff is coming to the surface and popping like zits. So that's kind of the way it makes sense for me to see, like it's, and it also, though, if you think even higher than that, if you go into a higher frequency and you can look from, you know, some higher frequency, look on down what's going on, we are actually evolving. And anybody who's on a spiritual journey and has done any type of inner work where you're like going, hey, what's going on here with me? Why does my life seem to be exploding? And you start looking within and you start meditating, you start kind of asking yourself the deeper questions. Wait a minute, what role have I played in all of these crazy things that have been going on in my personal life or my business life or my career or whatever? You are really asking the deeper questions. And what humanity needs to do is ask the deeper questions. What's actually going on here? Are these political problems we're experiencing? Are they health problems? Are they financial, economic? Are they, what's going on here? Well, here's the thing. No, you don't have to figure out the solutions to the world's problems. Yay, right? Nobody has to go out and then say, oh, this is the problem, here's the solution. All anybody has to do is start the healing work for themselves. When you heal, the world heals. That's all you need to do, is work on your own healing, ascension, spiritual journey, and connect with you and you. Close the gap between this version of you, your highest level self, your most connected, highest inner being self, and that little emotional toddler who has not, like maybe you've developed in your body, maybe your brain has developed an intellect, but emotionally we are a bunch of toddlers running around and hurting each other on the playground. literally and figuratively. And through healing, each and every one of us, we will come to our own solutions. We move into higher frequencies. We come into alignment. And the thing that creates anxiety and depression in a body, in a person, is separation from self. So, the more separate you are from yourself, from who you are, from who you came here to be, the more judgmental you will be of others, the more angry you will be, the more depressed and filled with anxiety you will be. So my suggestion for you, this is, I could talk about this forever and ever and ever, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to suggest to you today is to look at where you are judging others. Wherever you point one finger, there are three pointing back at you, right? So, where are you judging others? Now, this works both sides. This works for both really negative traits and characteristics as well as positive traits and characteristics. So anywhere that you are pointing the finger at somebody else, or even at yourself, if you're recognizing enough that, oh, wow, actually, I'm judging that person for being fill in the blank. It can be lazy, stupid, fat, disorganized, unproductive, making too many mistakes, greedy, selfish, entitled, arrogant. These are all judgments that I have actually discovered I was having about my own self, because I was pointing fingers at other people for being some of these things. And when I learned this, I'm like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Now, why do we do this? We do this because when we're growing up and we're like, we're toddlers and we're trying to stay alive in the world, we discover what qualities we are allowed to have to stay safe in our families. So if it is safe in your family to be smart, if you have to be smart in your family, then it's not going to be safe to not be smart and to maybe need help with intellectual. Like if you have, they have the smart sister and they're like, oh, why can't you be more like her? She's the smart sister. And maybe you get negative reinforcement for not being the smart one. Or like, let's say that it's safe to be very academic and organized, and it's not safe to be creative and flamboyant and loud and fun. Then you're going to shut down that aspect of your personality that it is not safe to be. You're going to suppress that part of your personality because you have to in order to live, in order to survive, in order to stay safe, loved, approved of, acknowledged in your family. So you do it, it serves you at a certain stage in life. Now later on, it does not serve you as you're growing up and you're, experiencing, adolescence, and you're trying to, find your place in the world. But if you haven't had the ability to have that emotional maturity and you were not raised in a healthy home or a safe home where it was safe and healthy to be exactly who you were, then you are emotionally stunted, your development. So you will carry on growing up physically, growing up intellectually, but not emotionally. And this is where most of us are right now, in my opinion. And so you will also draw into your life people who will reinforce those things that you put down, that those qualities in you that you suppress. So you can say, she is so obnoxious, loud, flamboyant. That may have been you when you were 3 years old. You were loud, flamboyant, and exaggerated and fun and full of life, but you got squashed for that. And so you repressed, suppressed those personality traits within yourself. And then you went on to say, I reject that. That's not okay to be those things. And so you go about life pointing your finger at people going, ooh, I can't believe she's so loud. Ooh, she kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. And you may call these people into your life closer and closer and closer until you do the work to discover, actually, I spot that in myself and I've got it. And not only, so those are negative qualities, right? Let's say those are qualified as like negative characteristics. Now, you may also have squashed those same characteristics, but as you grow older, you do healing work and you uncover the layers of programming and conditioning, and you start to heal your connection and your relationship with yourself, and you become more and more confident, and you close the gap between you and you heal this emotional toddler, and she actually rises up, and you connect with your higher self, and your higher self calls you and calls you and calls you until you are vibrating at the same level, the same frequency, the same consciousness as your higher self. Then healing begins, healing takes over, and you are comfortable, confident. You cannot live any other way but as your fullest and highest expression of you. This is so magic. So you might start to, as you're on a healing journey, you might start to acknowledge people who you actually admire, who you're like, oh, I really love how that person, tap dances or does watercolors or gardens or coaches or leads or speaks on a stage or is an actress or a singer, whatever that person is doing. And you can start to see, instead of being triggered as in, ooh, that person triggers me and I don't want that person in my life, you can start to appreciate that person and their qualities, and aspire to be more like them, and then start to live your fullest expression of your life. As you're on a healing journey and you heal this relationship with you, every relationship you have outside of you is simply a character playing in your own inner drama. So anybody you're pointing at is just somebody within you, and you've written them into the script. So you can rewrite the script. You can rewrite the script, and I'll teach you how. This is my area of expertise, you guys. If you start to look at people and go, oh, and you can give yourself permission to admire other people for who they are and what they do, as like, wow, I see that in them and I want to be that way. I want to do more of that. I aspire to that. Like maybe wealth is something you aspire to. You can actually give yourself permission to be successful and wealthy. When in your life growing up, it was not safe to be successful and wealthy because your family had ideas about wealthy people are greedy, successful people are scary, they're selfish, they're entitled, they're megalomaniacs, they're in danger from like people wanting to kill them, their people will always want their money. There's literally so many stories that we have made up about successful, wealthy people that a lot of people push that away and don't allow themselves to be successful and wealthy, because that would mean betrayal to their family. That would mean not safe. I'm not safe to admire successful, wealthy people in my family. It is not safe. Is this making sense for anybody? Jennifer, I see that you're getting it. Thank you. So when you I have a really amazing exercise I want you to try. It's very easy. You can do it any time of day, whether you're at home or out and about. I want you to make a list of everything within an hour or a day that you are judging other people for. And it can be positive judgments or it could be negative judgments. And this will reveal so much about yourself. And then you can take it a little bit deeper, and you can say, okay, so let's say it is not safe to be successful. Whatever success looks like for you. It's not safe to be wealthy and successful. Well, that's because growing up in my family, it wasn't like wealthy people were greedy, they were selfish, they were ill-gotten goods, they were bad. It was just generally bad. So now that I have been on my healing journey, I'm like, oh, wow, I can see how that's not even true anymore. But I can still see how judgments might come up with people who, like are entitled to a lot of extra money or are taking, becoming even more successful than they need to be. Like, who needs more than they need? Well, I can look at that judgment and say, well, actually, is it really true that these people, that wealthy people who have more than what they need, they have so much, they have infinite wealth and money, they just keep making money, and it's okay with them. Like, that's okay. Is it okay with me? Well, if I can start to see judgments about like, well, if I don't feel like it's safe to be wealthy and successful beyond the level of need to where there's overflow and even luxury living, is there energy I need to clean up? It's not okay to be wealthy beyond the level of need because I will what? What is the fill in the blank for you? Why is it not safe? So it's not okay to be loud. It's not okay to be bossy. It's not okay to take up space. Why? Fill in the blank. Because I will get in trouble. I will be neglected. I will be teased. Like, so for my wealth analogy in my family, it was like, oh, well, because I will be disappointing my parents because I'm disagreeing with their belief system. So I have to, and if I disappoint my parents, and if I disagree with their belief system, then what? It's not safe. They will not love me. They will not appreciate me. They will not celebrate me. See, I always got the accolades for being a good girl. I was a good girl. I was like, went along with the family program. I didn't stir shit up. I was the family Band-Aid. I kept everybody together. So can you see how you can start to unwind pull the thread out and start to tell a new story? Can anybody relate to any of this? I would love to hear comments. I would love to see what's coming up for anybody because this is really, really powerful work. And then, like I said, you can flip this over on the other side. If you spot things in other people that you truly admire and that you're like, ooh, I love how that person is so put together or organized. And if you spot it, you got it too, but you may have suppressed that quality within you because for whatever reason you didn't get the payoff for having that quality. But if you spot it, you got it, and you say, wow, maybe I want to cultivate more organization, more put togetherness with me, or feminine. For me, being feminine was not a thing. It was, I suppressed all girly attributes. And I was like, nope, it is not safe to be a girl. And I even recently experienced some of that literally in my family where it was like, oh, it's not safe to be happy either. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Why have I always been such a tomboy? Why have I always been so not feminine? And now, oddly enough, I teach divine feminine, goddess. I teach women how to step into their divine feminine goddess. Jennifer says, absolutely relate. I find that when I'm being judgmental, I'm intimidated and withdraw because of backstory. So you got to go into the backstory, right? Thank you for sharing that. So go into the backstory. What is the backstory? And is that a safe space for you to go? Or do you need somebody to guide that with you? What is, if the backstory is traumatizing, then it always makes sense to get some help and support, create a safe space to do that work, right? Which I know that you're really good at doing the work. But so this is just a taste, by the way, you guys, of what we're going to be doing in Soul Journey Sedona. We are going to go deep into our stories, our judgments, our own stuff that is keeping us from coming up here, that is keeping us from healing. We're going to do deep healing work, and we're going to close the gap between me and me, you and you. We're closing the gap. We're bringing us into holistic connection with yourself. The therapist was mind blown. Yeah, I imagine. I know you told me some funny, not funny, but interesting stories. So Sedona is August 4th through 8th. And yeah, Soul Journey Sedona. I'll post a link on the bottom here, but this is the work we're going to be doing. This is just part of the work. We're going to bring a lot of Byron Katie work into this, and really do a lot of deep excavation and healing and ascension work, and call in some of the next level magic, higher frequency work to integrate this stuff into your bodies and to move on into your next level. So my intention is to help people through these constant patterns, these sabotaging patterns. And like I said earlier, 2 of my clients were going through this, like where it came up in conversations this week where they were judging themselves so harshly and so like automatically, this automatic judgment of self and others is so sabotaging and can really keep a person stuck. But when we know the source of it, we can tell a new story, we can connect even more deeply with ourselves, and we can rise up to that level of our higher self and close the gap with our inner being. I will totally put deets here, and I'll put them in the link, and you can check out the link, and it's going to be off the chain, amazing. So anyway, here's the homework I'm going to leave y'all with. Okay. Just notice where you're being judgmental, either negative or positive, and then fill in the story. It's not safe to be successful, whatever it is for you. And if you want to go through the grocery store, that's a great place to, and go anywhere hungry. And then you'll start to judge people really quickly. If you want to get like really into this homework, go anywhere hungry in the store, traffic, whatever, and start judging people. It'll come out real fast. Or any relationship that you're in that is creating incredible challenge for you, an ex-partner, a parent, a child, a boss, roommate, anybody close. We bring these people into our lives. Remember, they are the inner characters. They are the characters of our inner drama. So your job is to heal these relationships and change the dynamic in your stories. Change the dynamic in these relationships. So these people are no longer terrorizing you. That's the whole point. Your emotional freedom is on the other side of this work. Your emotional freedom, healing these relationships. So I was working with one client who's got this ex-boyfriend, and she's been with him for 9 years. It's been at least 1.5 years that they're not together anymore, but he's terrorizing her still, even though she's in a new relationship that she's been in for over 6 months. It's total next level, high value relationship, really stable, really solid, but the patterns are still coming up. And I'm like, this guy is still terrorizing you because you're still judging him. You're still making him wrong. You're still keeping this active within your own energy field. We have got to do this cleaning up work now, because this relationship is going to suffer if we don't clean this. All the relationships are going to suffer until we clean this up. So you've got to clean up your relationships with yourself, and every other relationship cleans up. I promise you, this is deep work that will change your freaking life. Okay. So I'll put the link to what's it called? Soul Journey Sedona, 4 nights in Sedona, magical property. We've got a sweat lodge. We've got a yoga studio. We've got a meditation garden. We've got a hot tub and a pool, salt water, and beautiful rooms in the Sedonas, the views of the Red Rocks, and your private coach, and me, and Tierney Ray teaching yoga and sound healing. And just, we are going to the next level, babies. Also, if you want to do some one-on-one work with me, get in my Voxer right now. Get in on this right now, because I'm going to change your freaking life. I promise you, you are not going to be the same person on the other side of this. So message me if you want to hear about, what's it called? Voxer coaching with me, where we are in the Voxer chats all day long. I am with my clients throughout the day, sometimes every day, sometimes every other day. Whenever they need me, I'm right there. So this is access to me to have real-time processing. Real-time processing. I just had another client today tell me, oh my God, I love that I can just leave you these voicemails and literally process my shit as it's coming through. 24/7. It's not like I'm listening at 3 a.m., but the point is you get to process with me in a safe container. This is next level, you guys. And if you want to actually change your life, you want to actually do the work, you want to actually align with somebody who's been doing it, who continues to do it, who's changing the fucking world, message me now, get in on this, and let's go. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.